What is going on, everybody? My name is Japes. Welcome back, episode 2 of my Path to Power. Picking up where we left off yesterday. This time, though, we are heading on into the web app. 1,596 coins total. We've got our silver Belgian Pro League squad, and we have our gold French Ligue 1 side with our lone hero as the filling out one of our center back positions right now. Figured why not get the most out of him, get the loan. We're going to go ahead and throw all the Pro League players in onto the bench. Same thing for the Pro League team. All the League 1 players on the bench allows them to get a little bit of rest. And that way, when we play games, we've got our main squad and we've got a fitness squad. Which one's our main squad? Which one's our fitness squad? You can let me know that in the comments down below. Basically, I'm just picking up some of these free challenges. And this will go a little bit faster. I didn't really know what I was doing here. I just kept hitting A and being like, give me my reward, EA. Give it to me. And trying to complete whatever the challenge. And then I got super bored of it. And I was like, I want to play a match. Finally. Gosh, it feels good to be back. I've got a confession for you guys. I played the heck out of the beta and was like top 5 or 6 for match coins. And the demo came out. I downloaded it and didn't even play a game. So I was super nervous going into this, like crazy nervous. Because I really didn't know what to expect in terms of the quality of my gameplay. Also, another long episode here. If you guys are liking this, leave a comment and drop a like. Let me know if you're enjoying the series and the direction that we're going in here with the longer form stuff. Almost like a mini podcast type thing, but with some video behind it. If you enjoy that, leave a comment and let me know. We're going to go ahead and claim our reward coin boost. Always a good thing to do. Starting from the bottom, now we're here. This is why my wife tells me she can't take me places. Start from the bottom and move on up because the bigger rewards are further down. So if you are a high enough level on the EA Sports Football Club, go ahead and pick up the bigger boosts and then make your way towards the top. Also going to go ahead and pick up Ben Arfa because he works out well with our French League 1 side. Will I use him? When will I use him? I'm sure I will, undoubtedly so. If you guys tuned in to any of my content over the summer, you would know that the Team of the Season Ben Arfa was my favorite card in any Ultimate Team ever. So I was really looking forward to using this card this year. Going to go toss on Kygo's kits. Those of you that have ever tuned into my streams know that I have loved Kygo for a long time. I also love those kits. And then we're going to toss on Major Lasers as well. And largely, those two are the ones that I'm more partial to of the musicians. So that's the direction we went. Two of those Indeedies sold on for a couple hundred coins more, so we've made a couple hundred coins that way, which is just great. Also picked up a League 1 manager and a Belgian Pro League manager, league card or consumable to change them for 150 coins a piece. I'm going to go ahead and play the League 1 on my the manager that's your default given with 45 contracts, because chances are that would be the squad that would be around a little bit longer right now. So heading on into Foot Champions, the first one. I was super excited about this because I think Foot Champions is going to make this series so much better, so much more fun, because there is always a constant challenge to go through. Same thing with the squad building challenges, which I didn't want to spend too much time on right away, just because I don't think the benefits are quite there. If I get stuck and I have to think about a squad or go out, spend some coins on the market for a risk reward type scenario, I don't know if it's quite right. This guy's team is in shambles a little bit. Not a great looking squad, and we're getting things started here in the 12th minute. We are playing the 4-3-3 number 4 attacking variation, and I want to point out right here, I have Jay Blackman running forward. He's not in my French League 1 side. I don't actually know who that is. The player that I'm missing is Belhanda, and Dermaz manages to find the back of the net right there. So some sort of a glitch. I don't know if you guys have had this as well, where you've just had a player randomly replaced, but that is what happened for me, and I didn't really know what to make of it. And I should have known it was like a bad omen. 27th minute, he managed to take this out, but big Blackman there again. We paid 0 coins for him. He got glitched in, though I guess we paid 300 for Belhanda, so maybe about that much. Fabinho playing in Dermaz for his second. Tidy little player, not actually my favorite, and I was kind of surprised looking back that he scored 2 goals in this one. Nicely done, Jimmy D. And that is going to 100% be his nickname henceforth. 35th minute, working a nice attack. Seri is a great little player. If you need a budget League One CM, he is so well-rounded. Really quick, nice player on the ball as well. Minute, unfortunately, does not finish right there. Blackman not going to win the header, and lo and behold, what is this? Oh, EA. And I feel like I need an ode to EA or a poem, so if you guys send me an email, I want to get you guys more involved in this series, especially doing kind of longer form content. And if you guys would write a little poem or an ode to the EA servers, you can email that to me at airjapesfifa@gmail.com. Send me the email there, and I will, if there are any good submissions, well, I'll pick some of them, or at least one of them, and read it out to you guys for the next time, and we can go forward from that point. So I do get the DC when we logged back in. And that was, I'm not going to lie, that's a bummer. I don't know if Path to Power has ever started off with an L. So it's going to test our mettle this year, because that was really, really disappointing for me. So we're heading back in it. Also, we lose a contract. We lose one of our chances at Foot Champions. And I'm coming to this squad, and I'm like, come on, man. This is going to be so much... Like, this is a really, really nice starter squad that I'm coming up against here. It's well balanced, it's pacey, and it's in a really solid form. Well, the 4-1-2-1-2 wide, I don't think it's spectacular this year, but I think it's a solid enough formation. On the topic of formations, I think that the 4-3-3-4 is really good, and then the 4-3-3-5, the false 9, is just a formation that I feel at home with. I don't know if it's so much one of the greatest formations this year, but I think it performs well for me. We'll get into more gameplay with my Pro League squad coming up here, and I wanted to give you guys, in the spirit of some longer stuff, you're going to get a lot longer in the build-up than you normally would. Nice goal there from Milan, but it's called back because Johnny Evans slid and took out... Was that Fabinho that was making a move inside? I can't remember who that was. That might have been Belhanda. But it's Fabinho to take it, and I was like, no way, he's my best penalty kick taker. So I was like, all right, we'll change it up. Saw the 85 penalties and thought, okay, just kidding. One of the best position changes. Honestly, if you have a starter Brazilian team or a starter League One side like me, Fabinho is basically a must-buy in my book. He does everything pretty well. There's not one thing that I would say he is altogether bad at. He's also a monster in the air. Obviously good. You have a penalty kick taker then with 85 penalties. That's great. We do get an injury, and this is a new thing to Ultimate Team, and you know what? I love it. I absolutely love it. But it made me make a decision right here. I was thinking about bringing on Ndidi for more of a holding role. And I thought, you know what? Belhanda has some decent defensive stats. So we'll go ahead and bring on Stanciu, switch him to the attacking mid spot, bring Belhanda back. And Stanciu has 4-star skills. He is Romanian and is in my Pro League squad. So, but back on the injuries are longer. I think Seri was out for like 5 or 6 games, something like that. And they also make you sub your player off, so it gets rid. You know, you're still going to see people bronze bench. It's just one of the facts. It's just one of those things. We don't know if it helps at this point forward. EA's clarified what chemistry does to a player, but they haven't clarified what team rating does. So hopefully, you know, maybe we can raise a bit of a stink about that and have them clarify that. Really fortunate right there. Falls to Roland in the box, and I'm going to just start dancing around and chopping into people. But this is a nice bit of skill at the end. The roulette gets him free inside. The finesse shot to the far post is good. The driven shot cross body is also good. That is how I'm finding that I score most of my goals at this point. But because of the injuries, you're going to see people, if they bronze bench, they're still going to have at least one attacker and one well-rounded defensive type player that they can bring on either in the defensive midfield or as like a box-to-box midfielder or anywhere across the back. You're looking at players like maybe Alex Sandro, you could put him, Dani Alves, players like that, where you're not going to ideally want to throw them in at center back, although you could, but you could put him in an outside back. You could put him in at any of the midfield spots as an outside mid. I think that's going to be a player that you see. Stanshu, take a bow, welcome, and take that hot seat, take that seat at the top of the mountain as the scorer of the number one goal of Path to Power thus far. We're going to go ahead, slap that tag on him right here. Those of you guys that tune into this series daily, if you think that his seat at the top of the Path to Power goal scoring kingdom, or for the one goal, ever needs to be replaced, make sure you leave a comment and you say, you know what, Japes, that goal is better. But the little silver Romanian giving me the goal that we needed right there to set that one into a 3-0 victory. This was a follower as well, so he tweeted me and said, good game. So good game. Shout out to you, my friend. And we're heading on into we will be heading on into another match, but we're slowing it down. You can see we have 2 attempts remaining. We're on our 3rd attempt right now. So Sari, I was like, whatever, he's probably only out for a game or 2, no big deal. Switch it on over to the Pro League side. We do need to add the manager. And so we got a bronze manager at one point, Rafa Gastano. We're going to slap the Pro League Manager League consumable on him so that my players all get +1 boost. Now, I am playing a guy out of position. My right wing is actually a left winger, but he just had fantastic stats and was definitely looking to be a much better finisher than either Ndongala or Kassin. So I decided to leave him on there. I saw a lot of you guys mention your concern at Jene, my center back, only being 5'9". I mentioned he had 81 pace, which I thought was good. And the 5'9", honestly, going in, I was a little bit concerned as well. And I thought if I had like a sniper cam or something, I'd throw it on Simon, make him even better. But that was not the case. I'm not going to go ahead and wait. I don't know if it'd be wasting, but not going to toss an engine chem on a striker because I would prefer a boost to his finishing. But you were concerned about him being 5'9", and honestly, I haven't come up against a lot of people that are throwing crosses in. It's something that I think will become more prevalent, but people, when they look to build their starter squads, you're going to see smaller, still kind of quicker guys. That's who everybody's targeting. And this guy's got some attribute cards. He has some lone players out there, but he's in a 4-4-2. And this year, like last year, the 4-4-2 just doesn't seem to scare me. I don't know what it is. I will say there is a certain type of player, and I've harped on this for years, that there's a certain type of player that plays the 4-4-2 that just knows what's up and is absolutely fantastic at it. Get our first goal with the Pro League side. With the South African, I think it's Andale is his first name, so Andale Jali. He is awesome. I gotta say, for 150 coins that I paid for him. If you were thinking about building a Silver South African team for whatever reason, or thinking about following suit and going to the Pro League Silver side, which I would recommend, you've got pacey players like Leon Bailey getting forward there, unable to finish, but Jali is amazing. He's just awesome. Also, Ndidi was just an incredible pleasant surprise. He is a big dude. Manages to nod that one home in the 20th minute. He's big, and with 77 pace, he gets around as well and really kind of bosses and bullies the midfield. I didn't find that his, I think it's 61 passing was really that bad, because every pass that I made with him was like 4 or 5 yards. If you don't ask a player to do too much in that situation, you can get away with not having a fantastic passing stat. Limbombe working his way inside. Guess who? Andale Jali right there, getting his second of the game in the 30th minute. Nice left-footed finish. And in fact, I'm not actually sure if he's left-footed or right-footed. I do know that he has 3-star skill moves. But you can see he's a non-rare. And at 73 rated, he goes for 150 coins right now. That is pretty darn good value at this point, or for a player that's performing this well in my book. Now, obviously what's interesting is, unlike fantasy sports or something where you could take a pundit and he can give you his weekly rankings and say, I think this player is going to perform better than that player. I think this player is, the third-rated striker, the third-rated receiver, depending on which football you're paying attention to. FIFA gives you ratings to go off of, but what's fun is YouTubers and just players in general all rate different attributes more importantly, and they rate different players better based on the style of play that they have. And for my style of play, Andale Jolly is fantastic. That was him striking right there as well, forcing a pretty darn good save out of the keeper. But it falls back into my right back, goes to Jolly, and I figured, why not? Absolute thunderbolt right into the side netting. Take a bow. If I knew how to do the take a bow celebration, I would have had him do it. Instead, I just put the controller down, trotted over to the corner flag, let him have another little boot right there. Wearing that number 7. It is AJ7 controlling the midfield for me. Really nice player. I have to say I also really like Stanchu as well. Although he didn't get on the score sheet as much, he's a really, really nice player. I did pay 500 or 600 coins more for him because he does have 4-star skills. He is a rare. And on that goal, he decides to quit out Jolly with that 10 rating. And if I am mispronouncing his name or if I mispronounce anyone's name in this series, I do not take it as an attack or anything to say, Japes, this is how his name is pronounced in, you know, whatever, wherever he comes from. So I do try my best to get the names correct, and I do think I do a pretty good job for the most part. So we're switching things around a little bit. Seri is out, so I tossed Rekic in right there, who's going to eventually replace Yarrow, but I do have the lone Ben Arfa. Slots in perfectly, no questions asked, and we can head right on into the second or third. I think this is the second game of the Cup now because we got DC'd from the first one. And this guy, nice looking Colombian side, and I got to say, you get the golf clap. Can you guys hear that? It's just a light little clap. Bravo. That is a fantastic starter squad. Think it is great. Jason Murillo, the Inter Milan center back, I think looks fantastic on this game. Zapata, always pretty decent. He's going with the lone James to kind of make the squad. That's the player that I would say you could use Quintero in that role, but he's definitely not going to be James. If any of you guys have used James Rodriguez, let me know what you think. I was betting on this being his year. He very much, like Kevin De Bruyne, a little bit bigger for the attacking mid, but has all the right stats to be just really, really dominant. And Roland just dancing around, spinning around. He does have 4-star skills. It's Fabinho getting in the box. If at first you don't succeed in passing it across the box, pass it to Ospina and let him kick it out of bounds. But it goes this time back to Fabinho. He is a big man. I think he stands 6'2". Not sure what that is in meters, but he's a big guy. That right back switch to CDM, absolutely fantastic. I'm loving it this year. He's great in the box. Remember, he's also our penalty kick taker on this squad and really kind of marshals the midfield for us because we are using an attacking mid in Belhanda as the other CM. Speaking of Belhanda, working forward to Paulo Henrique. Don't really care for Paulo Henrique. The only thing that he does well is he's like sort of pacey and his ball control is not terrible. But I much prefer Jimmy Durmaz, the Swedish left winger, to Henrique. I could go out and get Valbuena, but I played against him or will play against him coming up here, and I just was not that impressed. Fabinho has it taken away, but wins it back. Henrique back to Fabinho. Ben Arfa spins with a burb spin inside, and I should have just shot that, but I didn't. And I get lucky and get really, really fortunate. And sometimes being lucky and fortunate in FIFA is A-okay. That said, you know, what comes around goes around, and you guys will undoubtedly hear me sometime in the next week absolutely throwing a fit, or not completely throwing a fit, because I don't ever get super, super angry. Not that you would hear. There are times in the moment where I probably do. With some sort of RNG type aspect or random bounce. RNG in gaming stands for random number generator, I believe. And so what it's basically doing is it's saying, hey, if you get, you know, there's just like a random chance that you're going to get a funky bounce right here. Nice little 1-2. The Roland slots it away clinically. I saw somebody suggest that to finish that thought, dab. Gosh. Well, I'll get back to that thought in a second. First, I got to comment on the dab. So generally, I stay away from like super obnoxious celebrations. I accidentally did the dab. Like, I just randomly hit buttons on my controller. I don't actually know what any of the celebrations are. And so I did the dab, but I remembered what it was. And it's like a not quite as obnoxious version of the dead fish to me right now. But sometimes it feels good to be bad. It feels good to be naughty and do a kind of obnoxious celebration. I actually don't know what that celebration is, but it's kind of fun. Anyways, back to... circling back, what were we on before? Well, now I've lost my train of thought. But I will say I saw a suggestion for Adair as a striker for the League One side. I think that's a really good starter option as well. He does have 4-star skills. He's a bigger guy, and crossing is pretty effective. Ben Arfa getting a goal on his debut right there. 5-0, 88th minute. Don't mind if I do. He's going to head on over to the sideline, get his picture taken, smile for the fans, even though he's not playing at PSG right now. His teammates are backing him still to succeed there. He's just having a little bit of trouble fitting in to start. But you know what? That is A-okay. And sometimes that happens. We'll all be pulling for him in the FIFA community. And if you're not, I will find you. I have a unique set of skills, and I will find you. Anyways, if you're not pulling for a player with 5-star skills that already has those stats to get in forms and things of that nature, man, what is wrong with you? It's fair if you're not a PSG supporter. I get that. You can root against him in that way, shape, or form. I have to say, I don't root for Aubameyang to get any informs as a Bayern fan myself. I don't want to see that happen. But for the sake of Ultimate Team, that striker is really, really dominant. I just don't use him because I'm not a fan of Dortmund. Although I will say, keep letting Christian Pulisic do his thing. The young American is looking good. And he actually has a decent card on Ultimate Team as well, so hopefully he'll be able to snag a few informs this year. On the topic of Dortmund youngsters, though, Ousmane Dembele, played with him in a draft on my main account, which you guys will see probably tomorrow. You're going to get a double upload tomorrow, so you're going to get my first draft and an episode of Path to Power. Riddle me this. I've got an idea I want to run by you guys. So the thought is that I am going to take my first 12,000 FIFA points on my main account and only use drafts. And then what I'm going to do is take the footage of all of the packs. I don't know if I'll do all the gameplay. Let me know if you'd like the gameplay as well. But my thought is to take the footage of all of the packs and show you guys what 12,000 FIFA points worth of draft packs actually looks like. I think that would be interesting because there's big debate about how to spend your FIFA points, how to spend your coins. And I think if you're a halfway decent player and don't mind grinding a little bit, you know, a lot of you guys and a lot of people here on my channel actually really, really like the grind. That was such a bummer that tackle didn't go off. And it ends up leading to this. Speaking of Adair, I ran like right by him as he fake shot it by, and I was super bummed. You saw the pause pop up there because I did not have my controller had reverted to, for those of you guys that didn't know, I play on a custom controller setup. All I do defensively is I switch my right bumper to the tackle button and I switch my B button to be my second man contain. I just find that it works better for me. It's more comfortable. Speaking of Andale Jolly, take a bow, an absolute thunderball right into the back. We weren't actually speaking of him, but he popped up again to do his thing and doing that celebration. I don't know what it's called. There are a few other celebrations that I think I'm going to try to learn how to do because they just look good this year. So once I figure them out, I'm sure you guys will see them far more frequently. But Andale Jolly, absolutely fantastic, and is really kind of propelling this midfield for me. Great tackle there from Jene, and that's the 5'9" center back. Like I said, didn't really find any issue with him, and we're playing in the finals in this one. This guy had a pretty darn nice team. I believe it's a French team. Moses Simon, though, paced too much. He's a really, really fun player to use. I think he'd be best either in a two-striker set or as an outside attacking mid in a 4-2-3-1 or something like that to kind of make the most of his pace. But speaking of Jene, indeed he nods it down. Jene finishes it. I don't have a corner kick tactic yet, except I aim for the front corner of the 6 and then try to head it down towards the far post and hope either that happens or it just goes in. If you guys have something that's working consistently, let me know that in the comment down below. But anyways, with the FIFA points, I think it'd be interesting to see what 12,000 points will get you. And those of you guys that like grinding like I do, this is a very, Path to Power is a grind-oriented series. I think it would be fun to see, based on what you would get if you spent 12,000 FIFA points on just gold packs, to see what you would get if you spent them all on drafts. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. And I will try to respond. And if you guys do drop some comments, I am trying to respond. I do respond in the comments. If you guys, especially if you have questions about something that I did, I'm happy to answer them. I appreciate you guys dropping the support comments. But we do qualify through this daily knockout, winning this cup, which is great. We get 1,000 coins, and we get a silver players pack as well, I believe, which is just fantastic. And it is going to... Well, we're really not going to get anything great from this silver players pack, but that's okay. We get this Dursan, who plays for Galatasaray, who maybe will be a good player in the future. He looks like a youngster, but not right now. Anyways, that is where we are going to come to a close for today's episode of Path to Power. I want to say thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. If you did enjoy it, a like or thumbs up is greatly appreciated. Other than that, my name is Japes, and I will catch you all next time.